So this cute little thing right here is a $350 gaming PC. And the best thing about this little guy is that it can play most games that are out right now, getting pretty decent FPS at 1080p. I wanted to build a system today that was sort of repeatable. I say sort of repeatable because this build was put together with a combination of used and new parts. So it is really all going to depend on what type of deals you can come across, but for the most part, a build with these specs should come out at around the $350 price point. Now, during the breakdown of this PC, I will also give you a couple different options because there are a few different avenues that we could go down and end up with a pretty decent $350 gaming PC. And there's actually a much better alternative than the one that I went with, but I'll go over why I didn't go with that alternative in just a second. And for this build, I landed a pretty sweet deal for a motherboard, CPU, RAM, SSD, and GPU combo for only $229 on eBay. Now, deals like the one we used in this build are pretty common on eBay. You're just gonna wanna make sure you keep an eye out because those get scooped up pretty fast. But please do me a huge favor and make sure that when you do buy stuff on eBay, you're buying it from a reputable seller, somebody who has sold a lot of different items and they have a good star rating. That way you can make sure that you're gonna get exactly what you're paying for. Oh, also, don't neglect that make an offer button. If you can get it for cheaper, go ahead and try. So the CPU we are using for this build is the Intel i5-10400F. It's a 6-core and 12-thread CPU with a base speed of 2.9 gigahertz, but it also has boost speed of 4.3 gigahertz. The 10th gen Intel chips are 5 years old now, but they are still a very capable CPU in 2025. Now, before we proceed, remember earlier when I said that there was a much better option to go with? Well, the better option would have been to pick up a Ryzen 5 3600, and while the 10400F is the Intel counterpart to the 3600, the difference is the platform that both CPUs are on. With AMD, you have a better upgrade path as you would be on the AM4 platform, which gives you tons of CPU upgrade options if you wanted to keep this system and slowly throw upgrades at it over time. But with the Intel chip, you are limited to the LGA 1200 socket, which only supports the 10th and 11th gen Intel CPUs. Now, the reason that I decided to go with the Intel CPU is simply because of the bundle deal that I came across. It was just too good to pass up. For the motherboard in our system, we have a MSI B450M. This is an MATX board with a decent amount of functionality. We do get a M.2 slot so we can have some faster storage, and the back I/O here, well, it's nothing to brag to your friends about. It will get the job done. Now, while you are bundle deal hunting on eBay, you don't really get the option of what motherboard you're gonna get to use because you're really just looking for the best deal possible. But if you can, please find one that has an M.2. Now, it isn't the worst option to run a SATA SSD, but an M.2 is obviously a little bit better. Now, this combo deal was only made juicier by the fact that we also get a 512 gig M.2 storage drive, and not only did the bundle come with said SSD, it also came with Windows 11 pre-installed on the hard drive. So now I don't even need to pay for a Windows activation license for this system. It's only like a $10 savings, but you take savings where you can get them. We also get 16 gigs of crucial ballistic RAM. It's not the fastest RAM in the world at 2,666 megatransfers per second, but it will get the job done. Now, lastly, this combo deal did come with a 1650 GPU, and while that graphics card can be all right for some games, it's really not all that powerful. So here is where a little bit of creativity and some hustling comes in handy. I never had any intention of using the 1650 that came with the bundle. What I want is a 1660 Super, and oddly enough, they sell for a very similar price, but offer very different performance. I was able to sell the 1650 to somebody local in my area for $80, and then I went ahead and picked up a 1660 Super on eBay for $85. So the GPU upgrade was a $5 upgrade. The 1660 Super is a 6 gig GPU, and while we are starting to get to the point where games they need more than even 8 gigs, the list of games this card can perform well at is still extremely long. So for the case that we went with, I did get something that was a little bit more expensive, but I did want the system to have a really cool blacked out look. Aquinos is a very solid company that has been producing some very nice budget cases lately. This one is called the Mirage 2, and it comes in at just $54.99 currently. Now, there are cheaper cases that you could pick up to decrease the cost of this build even more, but I'm pretty happy with my purchase. This case is really nice, and it does come with 5 fans included in the case. Now, the next item in our build is completely optional and not at all necessary, but I wanted a more aggressive look for this PC, so I went ahead and I picked up this massive air cooler. This cooler had a crazy deal on it, and I was able to snatch this thing up for only $26. It is complete overkill for this CPU, and the CPU would have been just fine with a stock cooler, but I do what I do for a reason, and I'll fill you in on why towards the end of this video. Now, this next part is gonna piss a few of you off, and that is the fact that I went with an Apevia Venus 500 watt power supply. Would I have liked to get a high tier power supply for this build? Of course I would have. But this thing is $30 brand new, and I haven't had any issues with it yet. Is it a gamble? Sure it is, but so is everything else in life, and if it really bothers you, you can skip the pretty big CPU cooler and find a cheaper case and grab a higher rated power supply. The choice is yours, but I made my bed and I'm gonna sleep in it. And with all of that, the entire system is complete, but we need to see how well this system performs in some games, because that is really what matters. Now, I wanted to play a good variety of games to truly see what was possible from a PC this inexpensive, and honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with how well this computer performed. So starting off with a MOBA, I played Smite. Now, this is an older game, but that does not mean it isn't a good time. And while the maximum settings for this game are not too intense, I did max this system out, and we saw an average FPS of 138, which is honestly a whole lot more than I thought we were gonna get. In Halo Infinite, I just stuck with the graphics setting that the game decided was right, which was a mixture of medium and high settings, and the system was pushing out an average of 70 FPS. Now, as you can see on the right, this game is smacking that CPU pretty hard, and the GPU is hanging out at around 82 degrees Celsius. So if you do follow my build path, maybe try to find a dual fan model graphics card so you can keep the temps down just a little bit more. So for something a little bit more intense, I wanted to play Marvel Legends because this is the perfect type of system for games like that. I played at a medium preset, getting an average of 82 FPS, and honestly, the gameplay just looked amazing. Plus, we won, and that's shocking all in itself, because I'm an awful gamer. In Forza 5, I just ran the included benchmark that the game offers, and when you first log in, they recommend what settings you should run in that game, and they said that I should run on a medium preset, so I just went with that. And now I did turn ray tracing off because, you know, well, GTX, not RTX. But we got an average of 89 FPS. Honestly, not really surprised here. Forza 5 is a very well optimized game, and the quality of the gameplay here was really, really good. And for the last game, I did want to test out a AAA game, because why wouldn't we? And I chose God of War Ragnarok because it's a personal favorite of mine, and at its medium preset, I was actually pretty damn impressed. The gameplay looked amazing, and we were able to achieve a very respectable 53 FPS average. Now, we did have some FPS dips down in the low 40s during combat and when the world opens up, but visually it was a very playable experience. Another fun thing that this PC is capable of doing is streaming to Twitch. With 1080p settings, you are able to get a pretty decent gameplay from this system if you were trying to build your Twitch following. But that is my submission for a $350 gaming PC in 2025. Like I said, there are a few different avenues that you could go down, but when all is said and done, this system works very well and costs less than a console, so you can get to gaming on a budget. So I will go ahead and throw up the parts list as well as prices up on the screen right now. We have the bundle deal of $229 for the motherboard, CPU, RAM, and SSD. The 1650 was part of that bundle deal, but we did put a little bit of finesse on it, which made the purchase of the 1660 Super only cost us an additional $10. For the case, power supply, and cooler, I paid $110, and all of that puts us a single dollar under budget, making this build $349. Now please remember that your deals might be different than mine. You might be able to accomplish the exact same build for less if you find better deals than I did, and honestly, that's some of the fun in building a system like this. But now I get to tell you why I needed the huge air cooler. I'm gonna be adding this build right here into my PC Buildup Challenge series. Now, if you don't know what the PC Buildup Challenge is, it's where we build and sell gaming PCs for a profit. We save up the money so that I can build an extremely powerful gaming system that I give away to one lucky subscriber. And obviously, because I am going to be trying to sell this system for a little bit of profit, I wanted the computer to have a really nice aggressive look, and I think that there's no better addition to this system than this big beefy CPU cooler, especially since it was unbelievably cheap for a cooler that is this size. Now this is season 2 of the Build Up Challenge, and we started this season with $0 in our bank, and now we're almost over $3,000 in earned funds from selling gaming PCs, which is phenomenal. So that means we're almost done with season 2. So if you want to make sure that you are entered to win the gaming PC that we have been working so hard to build for you guys, you're gonna need to make sure you are part of the PC Rehab Discord server. I'm gonna drop a link to join that server in the description down below. But what do you guys think about our build here? Is there anything that you would take away or add into our little tiny black cube here? I'd love to know in the comment section down below. Now, if you did enjoy this video or you found it useful in any way, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as slapping that like button. I always appreciate brand new friends. And no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you are having the most fantastic day, and I'm gonna see you right here for the next video.